What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the shop. That's right, it's that time again. Let's see what we're working on. I couldn't help it. Getting back into the cedar. This is a pretty big piece. I'm thinking this week we are going to try for a nice tall vase. And I couldn't think of anything that looks better than this for something like that. Let's get to work. Alright guys, first things first, just gonna use this here bucket, find our maximum OD where we have good wood, good-ish. That ought to work. And then we'll find center off of that. Alright guys, busting out the old geometry. We'll find our center of this circle. Alright, there we have it. Alright guys, we're up between centers. And yeah, don't worry, this isn't even intimidating or anything. No big deal. I'm just gonna get started out by circleizing. We're gonna square each side up, but now we're just gonna round this out, get it squared up, get a mortise cut in one side so we can get it up in the chuck, and we'll take it from there. Hopefully she doesn't bang us around too bad, but I am expecting at least a little bit. Nice and slow. Alright, I'm pretty happy with this patterning. Oh, it's great. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. We're all rounded out. I'm going to get a mortise cut, get this flipped around and up in the chuck. We'll get into some shaping. Alright, going to go ahead and get the end squared up now. We're going to get our mortise cut in on this side, or at least the start of one. And I'll get this flipped around up on the chuck. Alright guys, just taking a look at what we're working with. Because we have this negative space here, I think we're gonna make this the bottom. I'm gonna taper this down pretty hard from about here down to the bottom. We're gonna leave 4 or 5 inch base on this. So yeah, just working through. I'm gonna take some weight out of this guy. We're gonna start our tapering down so that I can get our steady rest underneath. Then I'll be able to get our finished mortise in the bottom. And yeah, we'll go from there. This is some gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. Let's do it.
Alright guys, I'm really liking the shape that's developing here. Really liking how we're pulling out some of this grain patterning. I'm gonna go ahead, get the steady rest set up so we can get our mortise cut in the bottom, and then get this in its proper orientation for final shape and hollowing. It's beautiful, beautiful stuff. We'll deal with this as it goes. It's actually really neat character. I don't know if that's gonna want to stay in there or not, but we will take that as it comes. Alright guys, so we got the mortise cut in the bottom, got our logo in there. I'm gonna go ahead, get this flipped around. We're gonna continue on with doing a little bit more shaping in the neck here. And we'll start figuring out how we're gonna shape into the inside. But so far, I am very, very happy with this beautiful grain patterning. I like all these little hearts. Really nice stuff. Alright, so I'm gonna pick up with you guys when I get this all flipped around, set back up. It's a little tedious getting this steady rest set up, so I'll see you in a minute. Alright guys, so we're flipped around, got the steady rest up in there, still between two centers. Just noticed we got this little crack going on, so I'm gonna treat that with some CA. Got a little something going on here too. So I'm gonna get this filled up, and I think we're gonna sweep maybe another 1/4 or a 1/2 inch in, only because I'm trying to extend this out as far as we can go. I want to see if we can maybe trace inside of this branch. I think that might be a neat little effect. But obviously we're gonna have to shrink the outside diameter of this because this is just way too punky to save. I might throw a little CA in there just to see how much we can save. But yeah, let's do some gluing. Alright, we might have to touch that up a couple times, but at least we got it started. Make sure that's good and dry before I start cutting in here, because there's wet CA in the crack, it'll start flinging out at me and the camera and everything else. And yes, I have learned that the hard way. All right, let's see if we can't get our rough shaping finished. Yeah, that's cool. All right, I'm gonna keep rolling this in a little bit more because I like that. I think we might just have to find a point where we can sweep in and just figure out when to stop and then just part this back. Ah, I hate this shit. So we got this branch swept in pretty nicely. Obviously we still have some voids on either side. We have this little spot of punky area, and that's fine. It was my intent to keep the opening of this vase larger than the body. I'm not entirely sure. We might maintain that idea. I might cut this down further, but I kind of really like the shape of this. Moving forward, up in here where we have these voids, and in places like this where we have some included bark in some of these smaller branches and this included bark here, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna fill all of those voids up with this black Star Bond. Before we do any more sanding, cutting, whatever, I just want those all to be sealed off, up to level. What's up? Use electrical tape a lot in instances like this just because it stretches nicely. But being able to flow a colored CA like this is way better than having to fill small imperfections like this with resin and then have to sit and wait an entire day. So we're all glued up. Just gonna scrape this down. Going to cut down the top edge of this rim. Figure out how we're gonna finish off flowing the edge of this in and get working towards some hollowing. Let's do it. Alright, I had enough of playing around with this glue stuff. Let's get into some hollowing. We'll take care of all this later. So moving forward, just gonna run through with the 2-inch Forstner bit. Get us all the way to about an inch to the end, and then we will start our hollowing. Alright, so I lost the tailstock. I'll have to deal with that later because we're running out of time to get this project done. So I gotta start doing some hollowing at the very least. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so here we are, hollowed out to, this is set for where we're trying to be with the depth, a little over 12 1/4. Currently at about 7.5. Now, as you can see, I stopped with the boring with the Forstner. We were having some trouble there. My tailstock here kept locking up on me, and eventually we lost it altogether. I could get no travel. So as it seems, The threads on the inside are just getting a little clapped out, and there were some spots where when we got to the end of the extension, slipped over top of each other, and we ended up mashing up a bunch of threads. So I got that pulled apart. I took the internals over to my little metal lathe, got the bad threads cut out, remade a starter thread on either side. So we're back in business now for the time being. All right, boring with the Forstner, take 2. You can see the bottom of that or not. There we are. So yeah, that's gonna help out immensely as we move forward with hollowing. Alright guys, well, it's kind of hard to see in there, but pretty well hollowed out. Let's see how far I can get you in there. Walls are a little on the heavier side, probably about 3/4 to an inch. I can't really tell because my calipers don't fit down in there very well. Profiled the flute pretty nicely. I'm gonna go ahead, just run through with a quick scrape, clean up this glue, little touch-up spots, and we'll get into some sanding. Alright guys, we got that glue knocked down pretty good. I'm just gonna work through the grits, 80 to 320. And I'll get back with you then. What do you think?
Let's see. Do you like it? Do you like it? That's beautiful. Say, here. Say, echo. Say, echo, echo. Ooh. I think she likes it, Daddy.
Alright guys, sanded out to 320. Gonna move ahead, get a couple coats of sanding sealer on here. The cedar I know is pretty thirsty. So it's gonna take at least 2, maybe 3. Let's roll through the first coat. Three coats of sanding sealer leveled down. It's time to start working towards our finish. Gonna get rolling here with the axe abrasive, work through the polish, and finish it off with some Doctor's Wood Shop high build friction polish. Let's get to it. Alright, here we are after 2 rounds with the axe abrasive paste. We're gonna move on forward with the polish. See where we end up. Alright, not too bad. Gonna move on to our friction polish. Looking pretty good. Build up a couple more coats. Pick up with you then. It's done. Let's go check it out. Here she is, guys. I am a sucker for this cedar wood. Really happy with the way this came out. The grain, it just speaks for itself. A lot of natural character with all these small branch hearts. We got this guy sweeping in through the top. I don't know. I'm liking it. Let me know what you guys think. I will leave slow rollers at the end as usual.
Shout out to Axe Wood Paste. Thank you again, guys. If any of you guys want to try their stuff out, Duke of 10 coupon code gets you 10% off of that. New sticker on the board. Shout out to Brad's Workbench. He's a good dude. He's been going back and forth with me about some of his wood turning stuff. He's trying to get his own wood turning channel up and running that is rated R wood turning. So go check him out. Show him some love. Tell him we sent you. TucaHeritage.com store site. We have Facebook, Instagram if you want to check that stuff out. Other than that, oh, there was a lot of you guys have been asking about getting Patreon set up. I want to do that in the future. I just need more time to put some extra content stuff together for you guys. But if any of you guys want to send a couple bucks into the beer fund, resin fund, I will leave a link in the description for our PayPal. Other than that, love you guys. See you next week.